Alright, how's it going, everybody? Here with Crazy for the update video for Gregtech 6.04.04 and 04.05. And this is the update where titanium got its change completed. So if you look at bauxite, it no longer will give titanium out when you electrolyze it. It now gives rutile. Same for yellow sapphires that used to give it. So the only way to get it now is through the mixer, which I will do my best to make a video specifically about that for tomorrow, now that the server has gotten updated. But you basically need to put your rutile into a smelter, and that'll give you the molten rutile. And you'll notice that the rutile melts at 2041, so it's above 2000. So you definitely cannot pour that into a bathing pot. It was changed to that purposefully for that reason, so you can't move it into a mixing bowl, or it'll burn up a mixing bowl, I think is what it actually is. But you then put it in a mixer with sodium or with magnesium, which makes your titanium. And as I said, I'll actually show this on the server tomorrow, as long as everything goes okay. But first thing is rice vinegar was fixed, so you should be able to properly make rice vinegar yet. Have you tried this at all yet, Crazy?
No.
Okay, so sake into rice vinegar, and this should be something you can do in a barrel, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I made sake already.
Okay, so you can make the sake in the barrel, and then if you just leave it sealed, it'll turn into rice vinegar.
Correct.
Okay, Crazy being the food expert of the group. And our fermenting expert, apparently. Let's see. Next, electric tiers, aluminum, and galvanized steel got changed around. So if you upgrade to this, all of your electric LV things, like the electrolyzer here, you'll see it looks like it's galvanized steel instead of aluminum now, when we definitely had it aluminum. Some people have been saying that they're going to recycle their machines and then rebuild them after they update, so they can use the right stuff to make it, because you will definitely have a different recycling recipe. If you look at the dynamo here, it says it contains 18.33 units of galvanized steel instead of the 18.333 units of aluminum that it was actually built with. But because of that, you now can make galvanized steel, or because of this, you can now make galvanized steel easier, which is why they changed. This is the basic setup you would need for making galvanized steel. You would put your zinc in, heat it up, and pour it with this new addition, the Crucible drain, right into your bathing pot, and then bathe your steel in it, and you will get a galvanized steel plate. We tested this in the live stream the other day. That's why this is set up here. One of the changes for the 05 is that the drain can now work on a vertical distance. I talked to Greg about it, and he said anywhere from build height to bedrock, as long as it's not a negative Y level, you can actually pour. So if you wanted to put a crucible all the way up at build height, and a mold or a bathing pot directly below the drain all the way at bedrock, and pour it. As long as there's nothing in between them, it'll work. The nice thing about this is we'll be able to make alloys in separate crucibles. Pouring them into crucible in the center will be really nice for like blue and red steel. I'm gonna try this out pretty soon and show you guys how that will work. The selector circuits have changed entirely, which is a great thing. Crazy's excited about this because this means that she can use a distillery earlier. Now your selector circuits are called selector tags, and they are made with small iron gears, 3 iron rods, and a wrench and a hammer. And then you just use that with your screwdriver to change them over to whatever it is. These also look awesome when they're on like a bibliocraft workbench or shelf, because you can actually see the number, and they can still be put into a, well, actually it doesn't have the tag. I have to ask Greg about that. It doesn't say that it can be put in a bookshelf. And you would think, because it's not an actual circuit now, that it would be able to. So we'll see what Greg says about that. Garnierite and pyrolusite have been changed. This is an awesome change. It makes garnierite and pyrolusite much better coming out of the electrolyzer. You now get a 1-for-1 instead of a 2-for-1 for the nickel, and then 1 unit of oxygen. And I do believe that will be the same kind of buff for the Crucible as well. It's not going to be fully, but you get 3 chunks now instead of, I do believe it was 3 nuggets before. So that is a huge buff that they got. And then pyro, look at that. And its Crucible is 3 chunks as well, so it's gotten a huge buff, because if I remember correctly, that was 1. And over here, same thing, you get 1, and you get a bonus of 2 oxygen out of this one, instead of just 1 oxygen. So this is a nice way to get oxygen pretty early on. It's only a 48 EU a tick, so that can be done with the standard dynamo, the LV dynamo, in the LV electrolyzer. Magnifying glasses now work on Gregtech engines. For anybody that hasn't made a magnifying glass yet, you really should make one. They have had a lot of things added to them that they can check. You can obviously check tanks to see what's in them. You can also check on pipes to see what is inside of them and how much. You can also check machines to see what the settings are on the machine itself. And let me find a engine in our box of stuff. And let's try a turbine and see if it says anything about it. That slime is going to die really, really quickly because it's getting seriously annoying. Alright, so you click on the engine and it says capable of running. I know with the electric ones, I tried it out earlier. It actually says what the input and input and output is for power and things, so that is nice. You don't have to waste durability on your screwdriver checking to make sure that it's set to the thing you need it to be. So if you want to overclock your thing just a little bit, you can check it and make sure what it's on. Turbines definitely do not tell you anything, I see. Magnifying. Let's see. Carrot juices may or not improve your eyesight. So this was added. So we're going to put 4 carrots into the juicer here, which we got vegetable remains from that. And we will take a glass bottle. We will click on it, and we got carrot juice. And then you can, if you're hungry, drink it. Carrot juice will give you 1 food and 0.2 saturation. So that's a nice new fruit juice that we can use now. And hopefully by the time...
Not a fruit.
I guess it's not a fruit. It's a vegetable juice, not a fruit juice. Thank you, crazy. Hopefully by the time we get done here, I will be able to drink this and show you can drink it. Crops were added: blueberries, gooseberries, candleberries, cranberries, black, white, and red currants, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries. Crazy has actually gotten some of these on our survival world on the server, or our survival village. And so I will show them tomorrow morning in the stream, the ones that she has gotten. The other thing that was added is the basin, which is this right here. So you can now make solid blocks. We looked at that in the stream yesterday. So you can pour like the solid blocks you need for making wind turbines with this. It doesn't make the ingot block, it makes the actual solid block. So if you look at solid, there is a solid block of just about everything. So this is not an ingot block. It's just a solid block of that material. And then it can be cut in a cutter into plates and shredded, extruded, all that good stuff. But if we look at iron and use a block of solid iron, you can put that into a press for the inscribers from AE. You can put it into a metal former for the iron shaft for the wind turbines for IC2. And if you really wanted to, you can bathe it as well to make your gilded iron or your fiery steel. But that is that change. So great way of storing stuff. If you want to not make ingots, you can actually make the solid block now. Crucible drain, which we already talked about a little bit here. It can pour into molds, baths. Let's see. Work with molds and bathing pots below them. Also mixing bowls if the melting point is low enough and the fluid is simple enough. So be careful what you're trying to put in there. They are redstone sensitive too, so you can still automate things with them. You can still use a mold right on the side of the crucible. This does not take away from the ability of a mold being put on the crucible and pouring from it. That is still completely possible. It just adds the ability to pour into a mold down here instead of up here, or even, many blocks below it if need be, and the ability to get liquids out of the crucible into a bathing pot or mixing bowl. You cannot pour it into a machine. You can only pour it into a mixing bowl or a bathing pot or a mold. So remember that. You cannot put rutile in here and pour that into a mixer. Let's see. Not everything will go into a bathing pot. Sure, molten zinc for early galvanization will, but other stuff may be too hot for a bathing pot. Stuff from one version later. Crucible drains can work on a vertical distance, which we already talked about, even if there is multiple drains in between them and the target. And they will also fill crucibles below them as if they were molds. So that's what we were talking about with the being able to make multiple alloys in multiple crucibles and then pouring into a crucible below there. And the last thing, which is 4.4.5, is vanadium is now slightly harder to obtain. I'm going to look up vanadium here. And the reason why it is slightly harder to obtain is because it now has a V2O5 instead of just straight V. So it's 2 parts vanadium, 5 parts oxygen instead of just being straight vanadium. Trying to find the ferrovanadium. Here we go, ferrovanadium, which the crushed in the smelter for some reason shows just the stone dust, which you would actually get stone dust and vanadium, but you would get less of it than you would now. So let's look at the purified version of ferrovanadium, which is what you will actually have in your world, or should have in your world, which it doesn't show the actual smelting. Not sure why it doesn't, but it doesn't. But you'll see if you put it into a magnetic separator, you will get 2 piles of vanadium pentoxide dust instead of straight vanadium like you did before. And then those pentoxide is then put into a crucible, and you will get 1 nugget of actual vanadium out of 1 vanadium pentoxide. Or you can electrolyze 7 vanadium pentoxides for 2 vanadium and 5 oxygen. So that's the 2V05 we were talking about earlier. So that makes vanadium a little bit rarer, with it being something that has a somewhat limited use at the moment. It's definitely going to just cut down on how much of it you're leaving lay around in your base, but there's always a chance that there's a new use coming, which could be the reasoning for this nerf here. Now, I do notice that you can get a tidy refined vanadium, or if you thermal center. Oh, wait a minute, that's the vanadium. Hold on, Bear's being a dummy. Okay, so this I would say is a bug. Thermal centrifuging ferrovanadium will give you ferrovanadium ore and stone dust. I don't think that's right. Washing it says it will give you magnetite. If you actually use the sluice, you will not get a purified vanadium like you did before. You will now get the vanadium pentoxide dust or a purified magnetite. So that is definitely been nerfed as well. And then actually taking, let's look at the impure just in case you crush it. Can electrolyze it to get a vanadium pentoxide, centrifuge it for magnetite. And then if we go back one here and we look at the purified and what you do with that, you also get the vanadium pentoxide or vanadium pentoxide in both. So there's a look at vanadium. There was a bug fix for the advanced table pulling the wrong liquids from barrels that were beside it. Crazy had, was it apple juice and mayo that was causing the issue? and that was fixed, but it wasn't in the changelog. Most people probably wouldn't have seen that bug, but Crazy did, so that was fixed. Is there anything else you can think of that was fixed that I might be forgetting about that wasn't in the changelog? I can't think of anything, so that will be it. Crap, you can't hit me. Let's take off my stuff. And let's go out here and see if we can find somebody to beat on me just a little bit so we can take a drink of this carrot juice. Because I definitely cannot take a drink of it when I'm full of health here. So basically this is the end of your video. You're going to get to watch me try to find somebody to hurt me.
He fixed the turkey legs.
Oh, that is something I definitely need to show then. Let me go find somebody to beat on me real quick. Or find out somewhere to... Ah, there's a spider. Come here, buddy. Come here. Normally I don't want to talk to you, but today I'll let you beat me a little bit. Alright. Now you can die. You've hurt me enough. That is awesome that he got that fixed. Alright, so let's drink our carrot juice. Yummy, yummy. And now that will give me a little bit of food. And I didn't get it, Crazy. It's definitely a random thing. You randomly can get night vision from drinking carrot juice. Crazy did it on her first try. And I just did it and definitely did not.
Here's another one. You want to try another one?
Yeah, hopefully my food will go down because I didn't realize we had enough carrots to do it. Pam's turkey legs. And I think it's rabbit as well. The raw turkey leg here. There was an issue where you couldn't cook them. And I'm not sure exactly what it was that made it uncookable, but it definitely was. Now it can definitely be cooked outside of a Pam's oven. So it has a regular smelting recipe now. That would go for rabbit and venison. If anybody doesn't know, this raw rabbit, venison, and turkey legs come from the animal traps, which you can use the vegetable baits. The vegetable remains work for the bait as well, right?
I've never tried the vegetable ones.
It makes veggie bait. Is that?
Yeah, that's bait. Yeah.
Okay. So you put this into a Pam's trap, and you can randomly get the rabbit, the turkey leg, and the venison. So that was fixed by Greg. He was quite unsure what it was that actually caused the issue, because there definitely should have been that recipe, but something was taking it out, so I'm glad to see that he actually got it fixed. And I'm going to stand out here and play with Mr. Zombie here for a second and let my health regen and eat up my saturation and try this carrot juice again. Mr. Zombie, you might have to whack me one more time. Okay, my hunger bar is now going down, so you can die. Have a nice day. Thanks for joining the testing. Quite nice participant. So we'll drink this down. And nope, I certainly did not get it. It is definitely random.
You're not as lucky as me.
Apparently not. There's your glass bottle back. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, leave them here, and I will gladly do the best I can to answer them or forward them on to Greg. You can also go to Greg's IRC or his IC2 forums and ask him directly if you feel the need. But I will be more than happy to put any comments or questions to him if you don't have an account there and would like. So have a good one. See you next time. We're done.